huge voids have been discovered under Tibet. Gates that someone sealed in the past? Well, we know from legends from Alexander the Great's historians that were with him, recording everything that happened every day on his conquests and his journeys, that he met various types of Nephilim, humanoid creatures, the ones he didn't do away with. He threw into pits or caves, closed the pits with certain metallic coverings, and even built pyramids over some of them. Could this be one of these areas? A strange theory seems to be on the verge of unfolding, as a scientific study made a rather shocking diagnosis in the wider region of Tibet and India. And as we read on Earth Chronicles, the study is based on the examination of a geophysical phenomenon that have to do with a past that, however, affects the future of the region. The collision of the tectonic plates of India and Eurasia led to the fact that the Earth's mantle under the future Hindustan Peninsula broke into 4 separate parts, creating gaps. This is the conclusion of the geologists who published the article in the journal PNAS. The collision of the Indian and Eurasian plates not only created the future East Asia, but also caused some of the strongest and deadliest earthquakes in history. The presence of such voids in the mantle explains why strong earthquakes no longer occur in all but some regions of Tibet. This is what Xiaodong Song explains of the University of Illinois at Chicago in the US. India, unlike many other regions of Eurasia, is a kind of geological immigrant. It was not part of the giant Eurasian tectonic plate originally, but joined the continent relatively recently, only about 65 to 70 million years ago. That's basically around the time of the asteroid that had the dinosaur extinction event. But before that, it was part of Gondwana, the southern supercontinent, so its neighbors were Australia, Africa, Antarctica, and South America. Parenthetically speaking, Gondwana was an ancient supercontinent and is thought to have formed about 570 to 510 million years ago from the union of East Gondwana and West Gondwana, and Gondwana formed before Pangaea, of which it later became a part. The best and most detailed approach to study the region is complicated by the fact that Tibet and the Himalayas remain one of the most inaccessible and almost untouched parts of Earth's civilizations. However, the team analyzed and combined data obtained from observations of recent large earthquakes in Tibet. So based on measurements of transverse and longitudinal seismic waves, scientists were able to create a virtual copy of Tibet with a depth of 160 kilometers and understand where the contact line between the tectonic plates is and how it is arranged. However, exactly how these gaps arose, scientists do not know yet. Hypotheses aside, only further observations of these voids, as scientists hope, will help reveal the geological history of the formation of the peninsula and allow better prediction of potentially dangerous earthquakes for millions of residents of China, India, Nepal, and Bhutan. Of course, other newer studies followed with newer conclusions and corrections of possible errors, but for now we'll stick to that so far. Now, what about the gates that someone sealed in the past? And somewhere here you will allow me to comment on the gaps of both scientists and the gaps under Tibet, the author writes, with various paradoxical theories that can easily be characterized as belonging to the realm of myths, ancient history, or of neighboring people that have survived to the present day and were shaped with characteristics of neo-mythology. But I'm always fascinated by the various ancient traditions of the worlds that in my imagination seem to fill in all the blanks that scientists can't explain. So if you, dear reader, also like to travel beyond reality, then continue, and we will continue. So there are many references in all mythologies of almost the whole planet which speaks of entrances and portals leading to the interior of the earth, the underworld, Agartha, the whole of earth. To borrow modern terminologies, we even have reports of 12,000-year-old tunnels from all the way from Scotland leading all the way to Turkey. So there are many references in all mythologies of almost the whole planet mentioning about the gaps. And in the wider area, including the aforementioned areas, there's also another pole of the Earth. In addition to the North and South poles, there's also the third pole, as we read in Gazzetta and The Guardian. And guided by imagination, they are somewhere in the area. Maybe Alexander the Great, Dionysus, and Hercules campaigned. And the Earth has a third pole, as we know, and is it where Alexander the Great, Dionysus, and Hercules said to have campaigned? This about the campaigns, not only has it not been proven, but it's a tragic for, say, a sane person to believe that there were Hercules and Dionysus, since they are figures of mythology, so are their campaigns. So if you're still reading following the particular path of imagination, then things become much more fascinating if one considers the legends and traditions of the surrounding peoples, those that refer to reptilians that dwell underground, or that may have been imprisoned there and are now trying to find opportunities to resurface. So we wonder, what if these creatures are under the gaps in Tibet? What if the voids are portals with corridors leading to these beings? And what if they are gates that someone actually sealed in the past? A legend says that Alexander the Great sealed these gates. And Alexander the Great was against the Nephilim reptilians, which he described as the abominable races. Now, of course, as you realize, this is all within wild imagination, and it could be, of course, just legend, but we don't know. There are too many ancient texts of Alexander the Great's historians recording all this. This I've translated for you from a Greek article. Please leave your comment. Thank you for your support. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.